Hello, everyone. My name is Delton Daigle. I'm a professor, an associate professor at the Shar School, Policy and Government, and I'm one of the Canvas pilot testers and one of the Canvas mentors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I've cleaned up some pages that have been ported over from Blackboard through, our implementation conversion process. So I'm going to show you first of all how some of these things look raw. And I'm going to open a new window here for you. Second as I take us to our home page, and I'm going to show you what these courses look like first of all. So here's my spring 2024 Government 300 class, and I'm just going to show you, for example, what the weekly content looks like for week 8. So here's week 8, and you can see that it's a folder, right? This is my content, and if I on the surface, the folder has some learning outcomes, some topics, and evidence of competencies, and a picture. And then when I click on the folder, you can see that I have one item that's the learning outcomes and objectives for the week, and another item that has all of the content. All of my videos organized. And if I had any additional, so it's got the textbook readings, but if there were any additional readings, I would have posted them here. Now, I'm going to look at my summer 2024 course in Canvas. All right. And Canvas doesn't use folders, it uses modules. So I'm going to go to the modules here. And I've already started to clean this up, just so you know. Let me actually jump back a second. Let me show you in an unpublished course what it looks like when it was migrated. So I'll go to the module for 8, and I'll show you how I've started to clean this up, and then we'll go back to my actual live class here. So, for example, here's Unit 9, bivariate measures of association. You can see week 9. We have a description, which when I click on it, it is that top line stuff, right? It's what you see essentially in the folder thing. Here's week 9 right here, right? And if I went into the folder for week 9, then I have the learning outcomes and bivariate measures of association, right? Now, in the modules, let's go back to it. So for week 9, you can see that each of those things, so the measures of association description, that was what you saw at the folder level, right? And then the 2 items that occur on the Blackboard page, this learning outcomes and objectives, and then all of the content are separate items that are nested within the folder, right? So let's go back here. And what I've done here is because the folder has the learning outcomes, what I'm going to do in the content chunk is I'm going to delete essentially this piece of information. I no longer need it because as you see, as it copies over, it's already here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add below this additional content so that there's a single page module that has my learning outcomes, topics, and evidence of competencies, and then the content itself. It's all going to be a single web page. All right, so I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And let's go to my current course. I'm going to do it for week 8 instead of week 9. And let's take a look at our modules. Now what I've done is I've already deleted that extraneous information, that chunk that would have included the learning outcomes, because as you can see here, those same learning outcomes are in my folder, right? So I don't need it twice. So here's week 8, and what I have here is 2 pieces. I have this piece, which includes the learning outcomes. So this was what was at the top of the folder back in Blackboard, right? So in the top of the folder. And then I have, what remains, the content of the folder, right? So here's all the content. I'm going to combine these 2 things. And there's this great trick that I learned from the course designers at the Stern Center. And you don't need to know a lot of HTML to be able to do this, just so you know. It's just copying and pasting. So let me show you this trick. All right. So what I'm going to do is this second one here with all the content. I'm going to open it in a new tab, right? And so you can see there it is, open in a new tab. And let me go back to my course modules. I'm going to go to the top one and open that one in my first window. Right? In this one here, I'm going to click on Edit. So this is the top one. This is where I'm going to move everything to. And you can see that it's actually a table. I don't know how well you can see, but right down the middle here, you see that there's actually a cell on the left and a cell on the right. I'm going to select the table, And I'm going to insert a row after. Right? And so you can see now, right here, there's a new row, and I'm going to select the two cells, and I'm going to go to my tables, and I'm going to go cells. I'm going to merge those two cells. So now I'm just essentially going to copy and paste everything in a single cell below these two cells that made up that table. So this is the one that I opened in the other window. I'm going to go edit. And down here you see this is these brackets here with the slash in it. That allows me to take a look at the HTML. And I'm going to go to the HTML also in the first one, the one that I'm going to migrate everything to. All right, and here we go. Now that new cell that I created at the bottom of the table is going to come up with TD, which means table data or cell information. And it's got a bunch of style information. And then what I'm going to do is right after this, I'm going to do a carriage return. You see that my cursor is between the TD and the / TD, which means that's the beginning and end to that cell. And I'm just going to select everything here. And I'm going to copy it. So it's Control A, then Control C. I'll go back to the one I'm copying it to and put it on that blank line I just created and paste it. All right, now I'm just going to save everything and you'll see what happens. All right, so now all of that information has been migrated to this one page. Now it does need some cleanup, so we're going to play around with some stuff here. So you no longer need this additional one. You're probably better off just closing it for now. And we don't need the Blackboard page, but I will leave it open so we can compare when we're done. I'm going to now edit this page and clean it up. All right, so at the top here, this learning outcomes, this is just text. There's some wonderful built-in canned formatting features that just work here that you don't have to learn HTML for. So this learning outcomes, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to get rid of the colons. And where it says learning outcomes, I'm going to change it to heading number 4. Topics I'm going to change to heading number 4. Evidence of competencies I'm going to change to heading number 4. And you can see that it's made them both bolder and a little larger. And then I'm going to select them and I'm going to change their color to the Mason green, right? Which you can see it's the new Mason green. So it uses a hex code of 005239. So if you're trying to find that Mason green, it's hex code 005239. And I've got it remembering it now. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing with the topics, same thing with the evidence of competencies. And the background, by the way, is also the Mason gold. All right, so that's going to look really nice. And now I can see that I've got a little bit of extra space here that I'm going to get rid of. All right, and here I got a little bit of extra space I'm going to get rid of. And I'm going to use that same strategy with my readings and for lectures for this particular unit. All right, so my readings, now these are all my readings, so I've got different readings for lectures and labs, so I'm going to go heading 3 here, right, and then heading 4 for lectures, and heading 4 for my labs. All right, and these things here I'm going to apply the Mason green to. And I'm going to do the same thing with my videos, where I've got videos. Oh, there's an extra space here, I just noticed. For lectures, make those, oops, too far. Make those Mason green. Going to make the videos heading 3. And for lectures, I'm going to go heading 4. Now this cross tab, I don't need it bulleted. And the reason I'm getting rid of the bulleting, by the way, you see how it says heading 2 right now? I don't want this heading 2. I want this just as paragraph. All right. The reason I'm getting rid of a lot of the extra bulleting here is when you look at it on a mobile device, I'm trying to create this very linear structure. And things that are there, you know, when you build content in a linear fashion, it's going to scroll really nicely on a mobile device. I don't love that our students are looking at all their information on a mobile device, but I got to select all of this, and I'm going to change it to 12-point font, which I'm using throughout. You can see this guy here is bulleted. You can see it's bulleted here because there's an arrow above the bullet. And I'm going to get rid of the bulleting and the extra space. Another extra space here. Another extra space. All right, for labs, This is a videos for labs, so this is actually a heading 4 here. And this is going to be green. And I'm going to get rid of this extra information here. We're not going to use that. And this guy here, let's go. All right. Here's your bivariate crosstabs. Got chi-square and phi. Get rid of all this extra information. These are just all the videos that I'm using for this particular week. Crosstab edits. There we go. Actually, I just realized that these labels are below the videos. I'm going to put them above. And we don't want that to be heading 4. So there is going to be some manipulation here that for sure you're going to have to do. All right, don't want it italicized, don't need it bolded, and I don't need it green, so I'm going to make it black. And this one should be here. And this one here should be here. All right, good. Okay, so I think I've got this cleaned up. Let's just take a look here. And we'll see how it looks. I'm going to save it. All right, so now it's starting to look pretty good. So we've got the learning outcomes next to here. Then we've got these are the readings. I might want to add an extra space here between the readings and the videos just to add some highlighting to it. But then you've got crosstabs, bivariate hypothesis testing, chi-square significance. Then for labs, you can see that I've got all my lab videos. And I do have an extra space here, so I'm going to get rid of that. Now, very quickly, so way down at the bottom here, we had, right here, I think we had an extra space. Let's see if that's cleaned it up. Chi-square and phi, it's still got that extra little chunk, so I'm going to do it one more time. There is something here. All right, I think we got it solved. And then the other thing I said I was going to do, if you recall, is I'm just going to add a little one carriage return right here. So there's a little bit of spacing. Now let's see how it looks. All right. Yeah, there's a little more spacing between the readings and the videos. And that little chunk, I'm going to have to go through the HTML code and try and fix that. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to save that the way it is. Now, if you look at my modules, right, now what I have, let's look under, here's Unit 8. So this is the one I just created, right? And this is the one that I've got open in this other tab here in HTML version. So now this one's extraneous, so I'm going to remove this one. And then finally, let's go, so underneath my syllabus, I've decided I'm going to adopt this strategy where I'm going to make links to everything, all the different units that the students are going to participate in. As they go throughout the course, I'm going to make them available directly on that page. So I just started doing this yesterday. And I thought it'd be a really great way for the students to be able to quickly navigate the course from that one central spot. Including, you can see, for example, I have discussion board posts and all of the various units. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to link through using the course links. All right, let me edit this. And you can see that everything is hyperlinked here, right? What's not hyperlinked is Unit 8, which we just worked on here. So I'm going to highlight it, and over here you see this thing that kind of looks like a gym dumbbell here. It's like 2 boxes with a line in it. It says links, and I click on it. It gives me a choice of external links, like you have a website that you want to link through to, or a course link. Now we just created that module for Unit 8. And where are you at here? Oh, this is a discussion post here. Hang on. So I'm going to go to Modules. And Unit 8, Introduction to Bivariate Hypothesis Testing. That's what I'm going to link it through to. Now you see that these ones, Professor Daigle, Proportions, Unit 6, Unit 5, Unit 4, Unit 3, they're all green right now. They're live. They're published. And the ones that are gray or black here are the ones that are not published. So right now, I'm going to update the syllabus. Right? And now you can see that that Unit 8 link is live. I'm going to do the same thing for the other units throughout the rest of the course. Put it on the syllabus page. Let's go back now to the modules, and I'll show you the reason why it was blacked out. So here's Unit 8, and you can see here that up top where we have the gray bar, we have the grayed out Ghostbusters sign. That means it's not published yet, right? And once I choose Publish Module and All Items, everything is going to be visible. So now let's go back to the syllabus, and we'll look at Unit 8. Right, I'm going to edit this again. And I'll look at Unit 8 is right here. All right, and let me go to link options here, and you can see now if I go to the modules, right, Unit 8, it's now green. Right, that means it's live. All right, I'm going to hit cancel out of here, cancel out of here. Now let's take a look at this in Student View. Now, in Student View, right, so now we can see, I'm going to click on that Unit 8, and you can see here, it's going to take me to the top of those modules, Introduction to Bivariate Hypothesis Testing, and I can click on it, and there's everything. All right, isn't that a good trick for migrating your content? Now, I know that many people are going to struggle. They're going to say, you know, why didn't all my Blackboard stuff just port over exactly the way it was? Well, it's a different application, different system. But you can, I mean, you're not going to have to rebuild all of your content from scratch. Some people might like to. It's a good opportunity to refresh your course. But you can certainly take that content and work within the way that Canvas operates. So by creating pages and modules rather than thinking about folders and items. And we can also embed, let's go back to my syllabus link here. So we're still in Student View. You can also add discussion board posts, right? So I've got linked, various units here. So here's Unit 1, Scientific Research, and they can click on it. And here's the one that I built for Scientific Research. And then there's a discussion board posting for Science and the Scientific Method, right? And so they can click on it. And here's the discussion board post. They can read through this, and then you can see that I've already got some students who've been responding to this discussion board post. Terrific, right? All right. So that's the way my course is looking so far. I'm more than happy to, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I am going to do some mentor office hours as we get into maybe mid-June through beginning of August. I'll set up some office hours, and if you guys need to reach out and you want to pick my brain on how I've been working with this migration, I'd be happy to talk. All right, thanks Mason community, we'll talk soon.